Hello everybody, welcome to 2012. We are literally just minutes into 2012. It is around a half an hour or so into the new year here on the West Coast, January 1st, 2012. As I watch the performances and such, I wanted to give you my 2011 year in review. Normally I write these year in reviews, but this time I thought I would do an audio review because, well, I can say more. 2011 was, for me, without a doubt, a roller coaster of a year. It had its ups, and it really had its downs. I would say that overall, 2011 kind of sucked. Not going to say it was a total loss, though. I'll start with the highlights of 2011. In February, I took a brief trip up to Porterville and met a friend up there. I have a video of that here on YouTube. Me and my friend Jessica up in Porterville, we hung out briefly. So that was kind of cool. That was the first real major trip I did in 2012. Or in 2011, rather. I haven't done anything in 2012 yet. In 2011, that's what I did. Then in April, something really cool happened. I got to take my first ever Amtrak train trip to Northern California. Specifically, I went to Fremont, visited my friend Morgan up there, up in Fremont. So I got to meet her and her family, which was really cool. And that was back in late April. And let's see, the next major highlight after that would have to be, of course, Field Day in 2011, my ham radio event that I attend usually every year. I attended it at the Bakersfield Field Day site this year, as that's where I was at the time. We had a good time there. Didn't quite make it 24 hours, though. That's my night when I try to stay up 24 hours, and I don't always make it. This year I didn't. However, the downturns of 2011 started shortly after Field Day, and I will get to those in a minute. Continuing on with the highlights, in July of 2011, that was the highlight, I went to Reno for the 50th American Council of the Blind National Convention, and that convention was the third one that I went to. Of course, I've been to Orlando, Phoenix, and Reno. And Reno worked despite some obstacles that were thrown in my way, but in the end, it actually worked. And I got to go to Reno, had a good time. And then in August, I got to see my friend Jeremy, my old high school buddy, who I hadn't spoken to in about 15 years. We were major buddies back in the mid-90s, and then he went off to the Navy, and I hadn't spoken to him, so I got to see him for the first time, and funnily enough, I haven't spoken to him since, but we had a good time in the first part of August. And then, let's see, in September, I moved out of Bakersfield back to my home area of the Antelope Valley. And in October, in late October, I got to go to the Occupy LA movement and see what that was all about. And there are videos here on YouTube of that. And in November, November was actually a pretty quiet month. And of course, December was, the year ended very well. I got the iPhone 4S and am now on a cool carrier on Sprint. And that I can thank my sister. Well, the downsides of 2011. Let's see. Beginning in the summer, my original iPhone 3GS that I had for over a year, or almost a year, got stolen, and that was not to be recovered, and was able to get a partial upgrade on an iPhone 4, which is what I upgraded to. And then in July, was it July? Yeah, I think it was July. No, August.
For messages. 404 at Giggles 22. Happy New Year, everyone.
And there's my friend wishing us all a Happy New Year. In August 22nd to be exact, the really hard downer of 2011 hit for me when, after leaving the location where I was for only half an hour, I came back to find that we had a break-in and my laptop and my sister's TV, among other smaller items, were taken. And that was a big blow because I loved that laptop. It worked really well. It had all my music on it, and it was awesome. It went everywhere with me. It went with me to Reno. It went with me to just about anywhere I went. It went. And I'm going to miss that thing. And hopefully in 2012, at some point, I can purchase a laptop to replace that one that'll work just as well. That laptop worked as well the day that it was taken from me as it did the day I got it. And those were some pretty major blows, low points of 2011. And, I can hope that 2012 will be a good year, memorable year, and hopefully in mostly a good way. And overall, that's my 2011 year in review. News-wise, of course, we killed Osama bin Laden in May. The last flight of the space shuttle occurred in July, and that is still hard for me to believe. I grew up with the space shuttle program, and living not far from Edwards, I got to see a landing and, of course, got to see a launch in Florida a couple years ago. So it's kind of weird having grown up with the shuttle and then having now no regular manned spaceflight launching from the U.S. at the moment. But those are just some of the highlights. The Occupy LA movement really got going. Occupy Wall Street and all the other Occupy movements that happened and that are still going on in spots. It's 2011 was certainly an interesting year. Japan had that major earthquake back in March 11th, I believe it was. And interestingly enough, there was a 6.8 earthquake that hit in Japan just a few hours ago, actually, right before the New Year, local time here. So that's kind of interesting. So that's what's going on. 2011 year in review. I hope you like it.